Sephiroth is one of the most iconic villains in gaming history, and for good reason. His presence in Final Fantasy VII is as commanding as it is unnerving, and his descent into villainy is a masterclass in character development. So let's dive into what makes this silver-haired antagonist tick, from his tragic origins to his god-complex ambitions. Sephiroth was born out of a twisted experiment by Shinra, the mega corporation that serves as a major antagonist in Final Fantasy VII. His mother, Lucretia Crescent, was a scientist, and his father, the super messed up Professor Hojo, was another Shinra researcher with a flair for unethical science. Before his birth, Sephiroth was infused with cells from Jenova, and Jenova was an ugly, ancestral, ancient, extraterrestrial being mistaken for a Cetra. Now, a Cetra is an ancient race tied to the planet's life force, and so, from the get-go, Sephiroth was groomed to be exceptional. Oh yeah, and exceptional he was. He was raised as a weapon rather than even a person. Sephiroth became a war hero and the poster child for Shinra's soldier program. His strength, intelligence, and charisma were definitely unmatched, and he inspired both fear and awe. But while his skills in battle were godlike, his humanity was stifled. Sephiroth knew little of genuine relationships, love, or trust, and this emotional vacuum would prove catastrophic. Sephiroth's unraveling began when he stumbled upon files and experiments that revealed the truth about his origins. During a mission to the quiet town of Nibelheim, he discovered that he was not just a soldier, but he was a science experiment. Learning that Jenova, his supposed mother, was a monstrous entity, and that he was essentially engineered to be an extension of Shinra's greed. This completely shattered his psyche. Overwhelmed by betrayal and existential rage, Sephiroth became convinced that he wasn't just another pawn. He was a chosen being destined to rule. He set Nibelheim ablaze in an act of fury and began his mission to harness Jenova's power and the planet's life force to ascend to godhood. This wasn't just a rebellion. It was a scorched earth policy against everything he felt had wronged him. At the heart of Sephiroth's motivation lies betrayal, a complete collapse of everything he believed about himself and the world. For years, he operated under the assumption that he was a celebrated war hero, the perfect soldier created to protect humanity. Then came the revelation of his true origins. He wasn't some shining savior, but the result of a grotesque experiment. Shinra, the organization he loyally served, had infused him with Jenova's cells, tying his very existence to a cosmic calamity rather than human greatness. The betrayal didn't end with Shinra. Learning that Jenova, whom he viewed as his mother, was not a benevolent figure, but an alien entity bent on destruction, shattered any remaining sense of belonging. Sephiroth's quest for truth spiraled into obsession, completely warping his worldview. When he discovered the truth about Jenova, he didn't see himself as a victim. Instead, he reframed his identity entirely. Rather than being a tool for Shinra, he embraced the idea that he was destined for greatness, and not as a protector, but as a ruler. He believed he was the rightful heir to Jenova's legacy, and that humanity was unworthy of the planet's life force. This god complex became the driving force behind his actions. Sephiroth's ultimate goal was to merge with the Lifestream, the planet's source of energy and life, and ascend to a godlike state. By doing so, he planned to reshape the world in his image, erasing the lies and betrayals he had endured. For Sephiroth, power wasn't just about domination. It was a way to rewrite his narrative, proving that he was more than just a failed experiment. His vendetta isn't just against Shinra or humanity at large. It's deeply personal. He sees humanity as complicit in his suffering, a species that allowed organizations like Shinra to thrive and that blindly exploited the planet's resources. This worldview justified his every action, from burning Nibelheim to attempting to summon Meteor, which would basically obliterate the entire planet's surface. Then there's his hatred for the protagonist and hero, Cloud Strife. Cloud represents everything that Sephiroth underestimates, a seemingly insignificant individual who is nothing too special, but repeatedly thwarts him. Cloud's resistance isn't just an obstacle, it's a direct challenge to Sephiroth's belief in his own superiority. This personal grudge fuels much of the tension between the two characters, elevating their conflict beyond a simple hero versus villain dynamic. Beneath all the power and rage lies a deeply tragic element to Sephiroth's motivations, his lost humanity. Raised as a weapon and denied any real human connection, Sephiroth's inability to reconcile with his origins drives him to reject his humanity entirely. By embracing his role as a self-proclaimed god, he distances himself from the pain of being used, discarded, and lied to. His actions, as destructive as they are, stem from a place of profound hurt and disillusionment. I'd still give him the chair though. Sephiroth's motivations make him more than just a standard antagonist. He isn't evil for the sake of being evil. He's a character shaped by betrayal, driven by a warped sense of destiny, and consumed by the pain of his origins. Whether you view him as a tragic figure or a megalomaniac and psychopath, there is no denying the depth of his character. In the end, Sephiroth's story is a cautionary tale of what happens when purpose and pain collide, creating a force as captivating as it is destructive. Sephiroth's demeanor is chillingly composed. He rarely raises his voice or shows overt emotion, which makes his moments of rage all the more terrifying. He's eloquent, calculating, and relentingly confident, which gives him an almost magnetic charisma. But beneath that calm exterior lies a man consumed by bitterness and arrogance. His god complex is as much a shield as it is a genuine belief. By convincing himself that he is beyond human, Sephiroth avoids confronting the pain of his stolen humanity. Instead of wrestling with his past, he projects it onto the world, declaring himself its judge, jury, and executioner. Sephiroth's impact on Final Fantasy VII and the gaming world is massive. His theme, One-Winged Angel, is a masterstroke of music that completely and totally captures his apocalyptic presence. His long Masamune sword is as iconic as his flowing silver hair, and his role as a villain who is deeply wronged before he became a wrongdoer makes him more than just a one-dimensional antagonist. In the end, Sephiroth's tragedy is his refusal to accept his own humanity. He could have been a hero, someone who fought against the forces that created him. Instead, he chose to become the embodiment of destruction, a reminder of what happens when power and pain collide unchecked. Whether you fear him, pity him, or outright hate him, there's no denying that Sephiroth is a character who leaves an indelible mark. All right, thank you all very much for tuning in for this video. Let me know if you want more character deep dives and motivations and stuff like that. I kind of really liked writing this one out. It's a little bit different from just the regular video game retrospectives that I do. Yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. Do you think he's the greatest villain of all time? He's certainly the most famous one, but I feel like it's 50-50 between him and Kefka. I don't know. The community, let me know. Thank you for watching, and God bless.